All right, welcome to a brand new edition of the Staten Island Soccer Report. Boy, if you're not pumped after that, I don't know. I mean, if you're not a Body supporter, fan, I don't think you'll ever be pumped. But yeah, Brian Dorr, welcome again.
Thank you.
To our 84th show.
84th.
And I just want to say one thing. I mean, if anyone's out there listening, Body, again, is one of the bigger cities, but the team has yet to prove itself yet. You know?
Right.
Again, we have a new regime. Grosso's the coach, Fabio. You know, if you know the Italian national team, you know what he's done. And let's see, you know, again, he's got to have good players, and, you know, they got to win games to fill the stadium. As you saw in the opening, they had one end zone full, right? And it was the upper tier. That's right. The rest of the stadium was empty. Again, well, you know, next week is their first game. This coming weekend. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with Body. You can't really say much until they actually start winning games.
Yeah, no.
You know, we've been here for the last.
We've talked about it for the past year and a half, 2 years, that they start winning, they're on a roll. Yeah. Then, we're going to change the coach.
All right.
You know, with this, with that, whether it's, you know, coach can do whatever, manager, whatever, can do whatever you need to do. Yeah. But the players need to execute. Yeah. And that's in any sport. Yeah. Yes, it's easier to fire one coach than it is to fire, you know, 23 players on a roster.
Well, they definitely revamped the team. They definitely added some new, you know, players. They got rid of a couple. We'll see. Again, you know, just like in any sport, they got to start winning games, and and the fans will come out.
Right.
You know,
well, listen, you know, we joked about it. We were texting back and forth. We saw, you know, saying 60,000 sellout, you know.
Hey, Vito, if you're watching, Vito, I mean, I don't know you personally, but I did see your show, a great show last week. But as you saw in the opening here, if you didn't see it, it'll be on YouTube. Just, you know, check us out on YouTube. The stadium is empty, and it is. You know what? It's
a big, but I get it. It's a big arena.
The stadium was built in 1990 for the 1990 World Cup.
Okay.
They hosted a couple of games in that 1990.
So that's why it was built. It wasn't built just for them.
No. And just so, you know, let's touch on a little bit of history since we're on the topic. The 1930s and 40s were Body's golden years, okay, being in Serie A, and they've won a lot of games back then. But other than that, listen, they haven't done much. I mean, they made it, you know, Conti brought them to Serie A. They were there for a year or 2 years. And then they flop back down, and, you know, like 9 years, about 9 years ago.
Listen, they're a big small town team, I guess how to put it. Yeah. And you know, you want to compete. It's great. You could win Serie B and move on to Serie A, but you're not going to survive in Serie A unless you're spending money.
You got to spend money, exactly. You have to have players. Yeah.
It seems to me, from talking to you all this time, they get their money. When they did it the last time, they got their money. They sold some players off, this, that, and the other thing. And next thing you know, they're back down in B, building up again. They like being down.
You've heard of Antonio Cassano. Mm-hmm. You've heard of Bonucci.
Yeah,
Bonucci's still playing. He's with Milan now.
Okay.
All right.
They all played
just to name two, right?
They all played for Body.
Right,
okay.
All right, and of course they sell players, but that's the name of the game.
I mean, that's the name of the game. You got to get your cash influx somehow, some way. But come on.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, let's see what happens. You know, we have a big name coach now, a big name soccer player in Europe, in Italy. Okay. We'll put it that way. A big name soccer player in Italy, and you know he's done nothing but good things with the national team. He's coached Juventus' younger team. Right. So let's see what he does with Body here. So far, so good. 2 games, 2 wins. Coppa Italia, but still 2 games.
2 games, 2 wins.
2 wins,
a
right.
win's a win.
And they're alive, and then they're in the 3rd round of the Coppa Italia tournament. So
that's all you can ask for.
You know, would I love to see them go to the final? Of course, but they're not going to. Eventually, you're going to start playing the Juventuses and the Napolis and the Fiorentina.
That's a perfect segue into, you know, what we have in the U.S., the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, and anybody can join that. You know, you got to put in your application, you got to qualify, and then you're playing your single elimination. You're doing your thing, and it builds a story. You can have all these games and all, and eventually you meet up with the bigger teams. Well, last week was FC Cincinnati or Cincinnati FC,
Right.
however,
Yep.
who played other, they beat MLS teams and PKs. They moved their way, and
Yeah.
this would have been, I believe, the first time, and I don't know if it's ever or in a long period of time that a non-MLS
MLS,
team has
right.
made it to, the finals.
They're in the finals now,
And,
right? Okay.
and well, they're not.
Right,
They
they
got
lost,
to the semifinals, and they were winning
Right.
2-0
Right.
against the Red
Yeah.
Bulls.
Yeah.
And into the 75th minute, it was late into the game, and next thing you know,
Yeah.
the Red Bulls tie it up, and they
Well-
go on to win it in extra time, and it is what it is. But the point is, you can play these games, but eventually you're going to hit
Right.
those big name
Now,
teams.
if I'm a coach of the Cincinnati team, I'm loving it because I'm going up against the big
Right,
boys, and
and-
that's got to give my team some kind of incentive there. I mean, you're playing against the big boys, and you almost had a chance of beating
Right.
one of the big boys.
And it is a downer, no matter how you can't.
Well,
in the beginning, you can't sell it to them right. Hey, we hung with the big
Right,
boys,
right.
and because they're going to look at it as we were winning 2-0.
Yeah.
And
kinda.
what did we do to fall apart? We were holding them for
Well, you gotta-
75 minutes.
You go
Yeah.
back and you look and see
Now
what
you go back
happened.
and look at it, and then you say, hey, and then you could turn it into, hey, let's build off of this.
Was that game on television?
No.
No. See, I have a problem with that.
Those games should be televised.
Right. I know it was on streaming. Was
I
online.
I was watching it
There
streaming.
was a link for that, but again, I have a problem in this country again with a cup game like that. You got to televise
and a
it.
local
Someone,
and a local team
right?
to us.
Yeah, it's got to be on in New
somebody-
York.
Whether it's the Red Bulls, who have
They got-
a
there's history.
television with MSG. They have their who televises their games. Say, hey, listen, this is a semifinal match.
Yeah. No, it's got to
Let's
be
get
on
this
television.
game on.
It's got to be on television, and no doubt about it. And again,
And why
that's where
wouldn't you want to promote that and let it get on? Put it on Fox Sports. Put it on, ESPN, the Ocho, whatever.
I would even
instead,
go-
Instead, you can watch cornhole on ESPN now. I mean, really? Come on.
I would go this far and say, play it on a tape delay then.
Something.
To give
Get
us-
it on there.
Get it on, right?
Right.
I would even watch it tape delayed. I know you would because you're
I
a Red
would,
Bull fan, right?
But I found it, and wasn't even. I was on Facebook. I said, "Oh wow, let me go on." We watched it, and we watched it from there. I had it on the laptop, and the two
Okay.
girls were sitting on the couch. The girls are sitting right next to me, and
Right.
we're watching the match.
You can't get better than that.
And you're watching
You
it.
cannot get better than that when you and your family are sitting there
That's
watching a
it.
soccer game.
That's
I mean,
it.
it doesn't get better than
and
that.
it was fun, but that's the same thing,
All right.
and that's a big tournament.
So who are they playing now? They're in the finals, right?
Now
Who are
it is Red Bulls versus Sporting Kansas City.
Oh, two MLS clubs.
MLS
All right.
teams.
Yeah, it would have been nice. Well, obviously not for you to
No.
see Cincinnati win,
But
but it would have been nice to have an MLS team.
I'm
and
not
a,
lying to you. I was watching the game. I was kind of at that point 2-0. I was kind of
Right.
pulling for them
Yeah.
to win at that point to say, hey, listen, this is big for soccer.
I think the Red Bulls' experience probably in being the bigger club probably came
Well,
at the
right.
end, paid off.
But it wound up hurting them in their match this past weekend when they were playing I believe they were playing Portland.
well,
Yeah, they were playing Portland, and you could see who's tired, who's
Yeah.
tired. You could see who's tired, who's injured, and they had a
second, yeah.
a depleted bench.
Okay.
So that happens. It hurts.
Yeah, let's just take care of this for a second. But yeah, I mean, there's only one team that I know of, I think, like has two squads ready to go, Champions League and regular season. City.
Right.
That's Juventus. But
Right.
But again, yeah, I mean, you have to have your full, what is it, 20?
24, I think, 23,
Around there.
24.
Those guys have to be ready to go, all 20.
Right.
If it's 25, whatever it is, they have to be ready
Or
to
be
play.
able to, and now with these teams with, the Red Bulls 2,
Yeah,
they have to
right.
be able to pull them up too. You got to be able to sign somebody to
Yep.
a contract
Yep.
to bring them up if people are hurt.
Yeah, I did see that they did. Speaking of, I guess we could stick with the MLS. The Red Bulls lost to Portland, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's in Portland, right? So
That
I don't
was in
think it's a good. I don't think anyone wins in Portland anyway, right? I mean, that's a tough
To be
place
honest with you,
to
I really
play.
don't pay attention to the West.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the West outside of, Seattle Sounders.
I was watching that game for a little bit, the Red Bull Portland game, and that crowd. It is a tough. It just sounds like it's a tough place to play.
Yes.
It's
It's like, well, it's up there and they build those
yeah,
stadiums
yeah.
and
Yeah, and I know New York City's going. I don't know if they're playing Portland. I don't know if it's here or there, but it's going to be a tough place. All right. So what else? You want to stick with the professionals, or
Yeah,
you want to go? You want
let's
to cover
stick
stuff
with-
that's on the island?
Let's stick with the professionals for a little bit.
All right. So New York City. I mean, speaking, I don't know. See, I don't get this because they played again. They played against New England, and New England's towards the bottom. I think the more desperate team, right? Because every game from here on out has got to be. It's almost like a playoff game for teams that are on the outside looking
Right.
in. So New England came into New York, Bronx, Yankee Stadium, right? And they actually took it to New York for most of that game. They were actually winning until midway through the second half. New York finally scores.
I wasn't even
New York finally scores. Of course, Mr.
David Villa.
There you go. The league leading goal. Hey,
That's
listen,
fine.
It is what it is with the guy.
He should be. They paying him enough money. That's what they're paying him
Exactly,
to do.
and he's doing his job, right?
That's it.
And if he wasn't, he'd be getting killed for it.
Exactly.
On this show and
Exactly.
other shows also, he'd be getting killed. So, do we got a caller? All right, I think we have Vincenzo on the line. Let's we'll touch up on this after we speak to Vincenzo. Is he there? Maybe not. I don't hear him, but anyhow, yeah. So they tied. So according to the announcers that did the game, and it was on ESPN, the New York City didn't play their game. Oh, actually, no, it was on Yes. They didn't play well, but they end up getting a victory and a late goal in injury time. We'll call
Okay.
it. All right. So, all right. Vincenzo, you there? No. Well, he might be on there, but he's not hearing us. So anyhow, we'll continue. Vincenzo, you're on the line. All right. So anyhow, they end up getting a late goal, and they end up getting all 3 points, which was huge for them. And they kept talking about keeping the Red Bulls down, right? Because they're now.
Hello.
Yes, Vincenzo.
Yeah, there's-
I know there's a little delay, but Vincenzo, you there? All right, we'll continue on until we actually get Vincenzo.
Hello.
Yes, Vincenzo. Maybe not. All right, so anyhow, their focus was like trying to stay ahead of the Red Bulls, and I get that part, right? But now, all right, I don't know, what are they in the standings here? New York City is at 46.
New York City's
All right, and the Red Bulls are at 38.
they're
40
8 points behind them.
So, yeah, and they play each other this weekend.
Right.
If the Red Bulls get the 3 points, I mean, they close the gap right away again.
Right.
You know, so, I
Right.
mean, I really wouldn't say
I
it
mean,
was
to be honest with you, if you look, you got to be right where you are. The top 6
yeah.
are playoff teams.
Well, let's.
Hello.
Yes, Vincenzo, you there? Can you hear us?
Vincenzo.
All right. We seem to have some problems with the phone. So just keep in mind the top 2 teams in both conferences get a bye,
Right.
which I don't really agree with. I don't know
No,
if I like
well,
that.
this goes back to the Americanization
Right.
of the sport.
The only sport that gives buys, I think, is the NFL, and I don't even agree with that either.
Right.
All right? Do you agree with the NFL?
Hello.
Yes, Vincenzo, we hear you. Can you hear us? Maybe not. All right. Well, keep seeing. All right. If Guy, he's not even back there, but he could disconnect the call because we. All right. So again, I don't agree with the tie, with the buys for the first 2 teams, and then the rest have to play that 1-game elimination,
Right.
right? So.
Right. And then it doesn't become.
And then after that, it's the 2-legged.
Then it doesn't become the 2-leg,
Right.
you know, until then. But why do you got to have a bye?
I don't get it. You
Why do
know.
you have to have a bye?
But now that they got teams coming in next season, they may change that.
They might have
I mean,
to.
you know, you're gonna have to change it somehow.
Listen, you want to do, you want to do something. We talk about this all the time. I know you got the East and the West.
Yeah.
You know what? Instead of just saying you won the top of the table,
Right.
you're the champion like they do in
Right.
EPL,
Right.
and it's that whole big list.
Yep.
So keep them separate,
It's 20 some odd teams.
right? But keep them separate.
Yeah.
West. and
Hello.
East.
Yes, Vincenzo, you there?
Hey, Giovanni.
All right, there we go. Finally, we got Vincenzo through on the line here.
So welcome back, Johnny. I noticed this is a back-to-back Staten Island Soccer Report.
Yes, back-to-back weeks. You're talking about back-to-back weeks. Yes.
Beautiful. That means you're doing an outstanding job.
I'm trying to get this. I don't know if it's outstanding, but we're here. We're here and we're talking about the game, and we're trying to give it, some exposure.
Beautiful, John.
That's what we're trying to do.
Well, John, as you know, the Serie A in Italy started Saturday.
Yes. Give us an update. What's going on there? I know it's only one game,
And,
but
I saw all the highlights and plus the games on Saturday. And the team that I like a lot is Inter.
Inter, yeah.
Okay.
Inter, they defeat Fiorentina 3-0. And I tell you, compared to last year, they're going to give Juventus and Roma hard time for the championship.
George. All right. One question about Inter. I know for the last couple of years you've been saying that they haven't had any Italian players on the team. They went more foreign.
Well, this year they do have Cantreva. Cantreva, he used to play with Lazio.
Okay.
He's a strong midfield. They got Buoncavallere from Fiorentina. That reminds me when I was a soccer player, all over the field. Nothing, he leaves nothing on the field.
Right.
He gives his best. And the midfield, if you have a strong midfield, Johnny, you're already halfway there.
Well, you control the game, right?
Yep.
Strong midfield.
Plus,
Vincenzo.
you have the goalkeeper. He's a great goalkeeper, Antanovic. Icardi looks like finally he's got his head straight. He's the captain.
Okay.
So I like Inter. Let's put it this way.
All right. So you heard it first here. Vincenzo, you're picking Inter to win the Serie A.
No, sir. I mean, John, I didn't say to win. I mean, they're going to give Juventus and Roma a hard time for the I guess, money or whatever you want to call it.
Okay. So, Vincenzo, what's the update with Cassano?
No, Cassano, I told you, he's a family man.
Yeah, so he's done. Nobody called him. He doesn't want to play.
No, actually, from Sampdoria, you have one of his best friends, Quagliarella. He's my age almost.
Right. All right, so he's young.
He scored 2 goals Sunday.
Nice.
So,
Okay. All right, so...
Cassano's book is closed.
Okay, Cassano is officially retired on the
He's a family man.
Okay, good. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So what do you think about Juventus? I mean, I read somewhere that Buffon said that they really didn't lose much as far as players. They brought back some players, so they're looking to win their 7th in a row.
That's amazing.
Juventus every year is always up there. It's not like they have a good bench. They have each position is everybody covers every other position or so. So they went. It's not like you're losing somebody and then you have a deficit
Right.
in the bench. Anybody in the bench could play first team setup.
First 11, right.
Yeah.
So, Vincenzo, the big question now after the first week, who is going to give Juventus a run for their money? Who's going to give them the hardest time?
Well, Napoli and Roma, they always there.
Right. So
This year, more than ever, Milan and Inter,
right.
they're going to be the top 5.
So
Now, Juventus is going to be number 1.
yeah. Vincenzo, stay away from your microwave.
Hey, microwave.
Okay, so...
I'm not cooking anything. You don't think I ate for 44 hours ago? No.
All right, so Vincenzo, who wins Serie A? Let's just...
Well, if I had a dollar, I would put on Juventus again.
Juventus,
But this year, though, like I said, this year more than the previous year. Previous year was Juventus Napoli. Before was Juventus Roma. They were there. That's it. Now this year you got Inter and Milan. Both teams, they look good so far.
I think Milan. Who owns them? The Japanese.
They're both Chinese.
Chinese. Yeah, Chinese.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So my pick will be Juventus to win it again, unless somebody beats them. You got to go with the champion.
Well, like
That's
I
how
said,
it, you know,
if by
that's
the
how
dollar,
that's how
I
it
would
looks.
put on the Juventus.
Yeah.
But this year, though, it's gonna be a beautiful Italian Serie A.
Yeah, it's going to be more competition because you mentioned now you're talking about 4 other teams trying to make a run at it, right? Milan, Inter, you got Napoli, Roma.
Yeah.
What about Lazio? What about Lazio, Fiorentina?
Well, Lazio that's a surprising team. It's a mystery team.
Mystery
They
team.
play
Oh,
against Spal.
yes.
John, this year, Spal and Benevento, 2 teams. 2 years ago, they were in the C division.
Right, 2 years. Right. So, do they have enough? Will they be able to survive in Serie A this year,
Well-
or will they go back to be
Like I said, Lazio Spal 0-0.
1 year? Would they be a 1 year wonder?
But this year, even the middle standing teams, it's gonna be some. I don't know. I got the feeling this is gonna be one of the best Serie A within the last of 5-6 years.
Okay, Vincenzo, quickly, right to Body. 2 games, Coppa Italia. They've won both games. Their season starts actually Monday night. So they put Body on prime time again
wow.
because of the new regime. I think, and I don't think it's because of the coach. You know, they put
Okay.
him in the spotlight. I believe it's Monday night for Body, and I see nothing but good things. Good things for Body this year.
Well, remember, John, Serie B, it's very hard to predict because you got 20 teams.
Right.
Over there, if a team has they believe in the youth, and these guys, like I said, last year, Benevento, Spal, they come from the C division.
Yeah.
They move up because a lot of young
That's
guys.
unbelievable. That's
Nobody
unbelievable.
knew their names until last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
2 years ago, he didn't know these guys.
I mean, that's that's a tremendous run from Serie C
See,
That's amazing.
to Serie A within a couple of years. That is a great job by, I guess, the whole club from top to bottom. All right, Vincenzo. So look, nothing but I think good things are going to be ahead for Body. I will not predict that they will win Serie B, but let's hope they get into some kind of a playoff and make a run that way.
Baby steps, baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. Let's see. You know what? You never know, right?
No, but Serie B, like I said, John, Serie B, everything goes.
Yeah, I don't know
Not
if
like
I
one
don't.
particular team, everybody's even Steven.
For me personally, I don't have the confidence that the team could win Serie B. I would like to see them get into some type of a playoff and make a
Playoff,
run.
yeah.
You know, make a playoff run or something like that. Be consistent, actually.
Yeah.
For me, be consistent because last season, and I don't want to compare because it's 2 different teams, but last year they weren't consistent enough.
Right.
You got to win games. You got to win your home games, okay, and try to get some points on the road. That's a good team right there. Win your home.
John, if I believe in youth upcoming.
Right. Okay.
Because if you do that, because sometimes a player, 35, 40, they just go like the last money collection. And you have to believe in youth. And also, John, I don't know if for the first time this year, now they go to the video, get referee, if something is offside
Yes.
or something, go to the video. I don't know, John. Now
Well, listen,
we're becoming,
Vincenzo.
robot,
Vincenzo.
here.
I like
Vincenzo, real quick, the video is not even 100% because they've made mistakes also already with that.
Yeah.
Okay, they didn't catch some things. But anyhow, Vincenzo, any last words?
Well, Johnny, you know Messi, Manchester United, they're talking to the agents.
Yes.
So maybe something is in the air.
Yeah, it looks like he may be going also.
Money talks and everything else.
Well, we'll bring him to the MLS.
Yeah,
Nah, he's not coming to the MLS.
to the cosmos.
All right,
To the
Vincenzo.
Cosmos.
Hey, Johnny, keep up the good work and let's viva el soccer.
You got it. Thank you, Vincenzo. We'll talk
you.
soon.
Take care, Vincenzo.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
All right, so let's get right back into it. MLS, we'll finish up with that. And then what he just mentioned, that last word, which started with a C, Cosmos. Yeah, I have a little bit something to say about that. I was at a game this past weekend. And, yeah, MLS, let's just touch up. I mean, they have, what, another month to go, I think? Close to that, right?
No,
What do they got?
they play until November.
When's the
but that's-
season end? The season.
In September,
September, right?
sometime,
Late-
September,
late-
October.
All right, let's just say another month and a half or so,
Yeah.
right? But they're up to 25 games played already.
They play a lot. They play a lot.
Yeah. All right, so it's still, there's still, for the teams that are on the outside looking in, they have time, right? I don't see DC making a run. I think they're pretty
No,
much
I
out
think
of it.
they're done.
All right, DC's out of it, but everybody else, Atlanta.
Well,
Atlanta's
New
hanging in.
England, I think I'm going to say they're out because they're not winning away games.
Right. Yep.
You know,
We just touched on that a minute ago.
They're not winning away
they
games.
They had that game in the bag yesterday in the Bronx, and they gave that away late,
yeah,
very
no,
late.
that's not. You can't do that.
Like in the
You
95th.
can't be giving games away. It just doesn't work.
So, MLS, LA looks like they're out of it also. On the flip side of this, it looks like LA is going to be on the outside looking in this year.
Yeah, and I didn't expect anything out of Minnesota.
No, expansion.
Minnesota's expansion. I mean, it's a formidable team. They're hanging in just like Atlanta.
Well,
Atlanta's right there.
Yeah, they're still alive.
I mean, they're still right there. You think about it.
Yeah.
You look at they're 35. The sixth spot is 36, and there's two teams in front of them with 36. And now
Yeah.
I don't know their head-to-head records. I don't know if they're playing anybody, if they're playing Montreal still, or if they're playing Cleveland or
I still-
Columbus.
I still like Atlanta. I like that
I just
team.
like a new
Right,
team.
right. They played well. They played, for an expansion team. I think I like them.
Yeah, they didn't just come in and play the typical expansion role that
Right.
you're just gonna,
Right.
lay over and roll over and play dead. So.
Yeah, Minnesota did actually. They're the team that.
Yeah,
pretty much-
they just,
6
got a
wins.
goal differential of minus 21.
That's horrible.
I mean,
right?
come on.
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, does the MLS really need a team in Minnesota? With the
I don't
weather-
know.
With the weather.
I don't know what
That's-
prompted them to put a club up there.
I mean, I don't know much about the weather in Minnesota, but when did they start getting snow? It's got to be
Mm-hmm.
soon. It's a lot sooner than we do. We get it.
Well, if you remember, they played it. There was a game earlier in the season.
There you go.
They
That-
played in the.
that's-
I mean, it was like
Right.
15 degrees out or something
Exactly.
like that.
And they say that they have heated the ground. Is like,
Yeah,
but
I don't care
Yeah, I know.
how heated it is.
Don't kill the game. It's bad enough they're changing the rules in this country. With
Right.
with the no extra time after games.
Right.
Going straight to PKs. But again, do they really need a team there? Let's hope they.
Hey, who knows? It's their first year.
Yeah.
Who knows what can happen? Any expansion,
Right.
promotion.
Well, I
of the
like
game.
it. I like Atlanta, and I like that. That they have a team there. Miami's going to get a team, right? So there'll be rivals there. So,
Right. You spur something up down there.
Yeah, that'll definitely spur
You
it
don't,
up.
you know,
there.
you don't know.
We don't have a team in Tampa, do we?
Well, they have a USL, I believe, a USL
Right,
team.
but no MLS.
The Tampa Bay
Yeah,
Rowdies.
And Tampa, right?
I think
right.
they are.
Tampa should have a MLS team. But you know what? I also heard that. Speaking of, we'll change it up a little bit. We'll go to the NASL. I was at a Cosmo game in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And I know I've said
MCU
this,
Park,
and
it's-
I've said this, and I'll stand by it. And they have to. I don't know anyone on that team,
Right.
player wise. I don't
Right.
know anyone, and I don't go see this guy, that guy, because I don't even know who they are. I go for the day out, for the night
Right,
out. I take
right.
my kids, and we enjoy just watching a soccer game, and end up being the Cosmos. I like hearing that song every now and then. When the score goes, they play that old Cosmos
Okay.
song. And the smoke comes out, the blue, yellow smoke.
Oh, okay,
All right, so
okay.
it's kind of like a fun night. They had 6,100 was the attendance.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if
Listen.
that, but it still looked empty.
You got to remember, that it's a baseball field.
It is. It's a baseball field. As far as the game went, they were down 2-0 in the first 14 minutes. The game
Okay.
was on MSG.
Yeah, they
Right.
have a television contract with MSG as
So
well.
that's a big step right there, right? So they're down 2-0 first 15 minutes of the game. They get one back right before the half. They tie it up 2-2. They go down 3-2. They tie it up again, 3-3. They have a chance in the 95th minute. Yeah, 95th, because it was actually 10 minutes of extra time.
Really?
Yeah, 10, because a guy got hurt in the
Extra time.
Right. So he added more time. I ended up finding that out because I saw the game the next day on television. And
Okay.
it went to it went like to 100 minutes. It
Wow.
was like 100 minutes. So anyhow, they actually had a chance to win that game. They hit the crossbar with seconds to go.
Wow.
So it was an exciting game. It was 6 goals.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the goals there. And again, I'm not going to go to a Cosmo game because, hey, look, we got Hubert Burke in my opponent. I want to go. None of those. I don't know any of these kids.
Right,
I
right.
don't know any of them. And, it is what it is.
Well, see, they gave up their star-studded when Raul left.
Right.
When Raul, that was a big signing, and it was good because but once Raul left, that was the end of it. No more Raul, and now it's a lot of, and I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're young kids. I don't know if, where they're coming from, where they're recruiting them from. But I'm sure everybody playing there has intentions or aspirations
Yep.
of moving up the ladder.
Yeah.
NASL, I guess when
There's
you
only
want to
8
look at
teams.
things, the next one is, I really don't know the ranking. I don't know if NASL is below USL, but
I would say they are. That's just my opinion. I would say they
you
are.
got to move somewhere.
Yeah.
You're not playing there because God knows how much they're making. I'm
Right,
sure they're not,
right.
they're not signing those
Yeah.
big contracts. Are they like minor league ball players where they're getting paid,
Minimum.
a couple of couple of bucks a game, a couple of $100 a game. But this, you're training all the time. I don't know.
Well, look, I don't think the MLS is going to bring in a third team for the city.
No, that's not going to happen.
Although, you know what? Look, the Red Bulls play in Jersey. I mean,
Yeah, but you got to look at it. The market is the market.
right. It's just the same thing with the 2 football teams. I understand, they play in Jersey, and they'll never bring in another New York team
No.
to play in the
Right,
city.
they're not going to do that.
Because-
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, right. So the Cosmos, I don't think will have a chance to be in the MLS.
But I
because
don't think they'd. I honestly don't think.
you could
they're ever
probably
gonna-
you could sell it by the name. I think you could sell it.
Yeah, but you're not getting the turnout now. You could sell it by the name all you want.
You're
but
not getting it because you don't have. Maybe it's because of the quality on the field.
Maybe.
That's
or the ownership.
That
Because it's the second round of ownership,
yeah,
right?
but this guy saved them.
Right.
I think-
No, they were out. They were
He
done. They
saved-
released
right.
everybody. They
Right.
fired
he
people.
He saved it. The thing is, you got to put the players on the field. If you don't have the players, they're not going
Right.
to come out. It's proven. You go to Giant MetLife Stadium, you bring in the Argentinian teams, and you bring all these international. They sell out.
Right.
So
No, it's
quality on the
the
field.
players.
Build a stadium, build a 30,000 seat arena, and bring players over and put the Cosmo name will sell. I think it would. I think it would
Cosmos.
still.
Well, it's always the Cosmos.
Right.
It's
That
Cosmos are the
name-
Cosmos.
Right, right.
Yes.
The Pelés and all them guys way back when made that team. That name will. I don't think it'll ever die. But,
No, it
But you
won't.
got to bring players here.
Well, you got to put a
To
product
put-
out on the field.
Exactly. That's,
And it's a
you know,
commitment to
yeah,
doing that.
Yep. Yep. So the MLS now, will they allow 3 teams to play in one city?
I don't know.
Yeah. So
I don't
that's
know.
maybe we need that commissioner, to come on.
Yeah.
Really, we got to get the commissioner on to answer. I mean, really, will they allow? Even though the Red Bulls are in Jersey.
Yeah, but they got to start, John, putting together something.
Yeah.
You can't just go from
Well, they got.
NASL and being out of business, because that's what they were.
Yeah.
They were out of business.
And was it like the owners vote on who comes in? Is that how it goes? Also,
It's like
Yeah,
MLB.
all the owners,
they,
right.
the owners get together. They have a nomination. Like, hey,
Yeah.
this team put in an application.
Right.
But I'm sure you have to have something. You got to have your plan. You got to be able to put on and say, this is what we're looking to. Look,
think-
Atlanta. Now it's different because the guy who owns the Falcons
Right.
is the same
Yeah.
owner of the.
Yeah.
But they went and built the stadium.
Yeah.
They,
Well, that's what it is. You have the stadium. You're going to have a team.
right.
I think that's how.
But yes, it goes
basically
back to the money. But they can't just say, hey, we want to come.
Yeah. Well, the stadium, and we're talking just about the Cosmos, and you say, hey, look, I have a stadium here. I want, I would like the Cosmos to
Right.
join in. He's got a pretty good shot. And then you go out and you have to just do like everybody else does. Then you get your players. I think
Yeah.
that's the easiest part. Get yourself a soccer stadium.
It's not that easy.
Well, you're right.
You know what I mean? I'll go there again.
All right,
Yeah, it's
trying
the
to build
easy
winner.
part.
Well, look, if you have money,
easy.
If you have money, you could. That's how you get your
Right,
players.
but you have money. You're talking about a team that doesn't have their own stadium.
Yeah,
You want to
well.
say how easy it is to get a stadium built.
Well, let's talk about real, like European-based teams.
Well, that's what you have to do, right.
You have to look at them, and they spend the money, and they get the players.
They get
right?
the money.
Right.
Right. That's exactly it.
So, but yeah, New York City FC with this base Yankee Stadium type of thing, yeah, it is what it is.
Well, sooner or later, I think the MLS is going to have to say, guys, you
I'd
got
like
get
to know
your
what
own.
kind of deal they made.
You got to get your own state. You got to get your own arena.
It's not a good look. It's just not a good.
You can't. You're playing on a small-sided field.
I mean, even the Cosmos, like you mentioned, you've been
Last week, right?
They're playing on a regular size soccer field in a baseball
Right.
arena,
Right.
stadium. You know, although that field, doesn't look as good as it does maybe on television, but when you're there, you could see it. I mean, it's really.
Oh, real.
And I wonder why. I have to find out why do they water it down? Artificial turf. Why are they watering it down?
I would think it'd make it slippery.
But that's what they do before the game and at halftime. Both ends of the field, they're watering it down.
Is it to cool it off?
I don't know. I don't get it, but I'm gonna have to find
Why
out
would
about
you
that.
wet? I'd
Yeah.
love to know. Like,
Yeah,
why would you
yeah.
wet turf?
Good question. Yeah, we'll find out.
Huh?
But
Okay.
all right. So that's wraps on the the Cosmos and the MLS, New York City FC. Yeah, they got to get a stadium. It's just not a good look. When they're looking at us, looking at that game. Say they make it to the finals is going to be a neutral zone, right? Neutral
Finals
zone.
are always a neutral
So
zone.
even
yeah.
like the semifinal game, and everyone's watching, Yankee Stadium doesn't look good
No,
in a soccer
no,
setting.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just
So, maybe they could switch over to Jersey and play in that arena. That's a beautiful arena.
yeah.
The Red Bull Arena is soccer.
It's it was
Soccer,
built for that.
Yeah,
that was it.
And it is a beautiful arena. As much as I really don't care for that team, but
It's
Right.
It's nothing. Inside it is nothing.
what do they sit? How many seats are in there?
That I don't know.
It's got to be around 30.
It's
gotta be.
that's probably about a normal.
The women's team play there, the national
yeah.
team. Yeah. So.
And it's exactly it. You walk in
Oh, that's
and it's a shell.
right. And I like the way they, the top of the stadium.
Yeah, but it's a shell. You walk in, you have
Yeah.
the first level you walk in, then there's the level, and that's your concession stands are in there, and then you walk in and you're watching the match. That's it.
That's it. Soccer stadium, hopefully for the Cosmos. We'll see. Again, the more teams, the better, right? But
Yeah.
all right, we touched on some professional stuff. Barcelona, I don't know, Messi
Listen,
talking about he wants to leave there. Now you're going to have everybody want to
now
leave.
it's contract negotiations,
Yeah.
and I read somewhere today Neymar was talking out a little bit, saying that the coaches, the players are good,
Yeah, well, there's reports.
but he sees his teammates sad. It's
Okay.
the board that isn't. The board is a little. The board isn't doing things right.
Right.
So he's speaking out, and he's also a little bitter because they weren't going to sell it. They weren't going to let you go through with it. But listen, it's contract negotiations.
So now listen, how long has this team been together, the core in Barcelona?
A long time.
Now, is there a point where they get kind of like, it gets like, you get like tired
Well,
of,
well, look, Messi is a La Masia,
right?
product. I think he just turned 30.
Okay. Still,
Iniesta is 33.
Yeah.
He's a product.
He's
That's all
another one.
he's played. So these guys, you know what? It's great, but they're looking. Let me go do this somewhere else now.
well, why not bring him here?
Listen,
Why not
I
bring
don't
him
know
here?
if they would. I don't
mean,
know.
they've done everything. It's not a money thing, right? You would think he's well off with that, right?
Yeah, but they like the champions.
The Champions League, yeah. The
Champions League.
Yeah.
They like all
Well,
that
that's
other
where-
stuff. We don't have that
That's
here.
where it's at, right? The Champions
Come on,
League.
they're going
is-
to play CONCACAF.
No.
CONCACAF,
Oh.
Their U.S. Open Cup.
Well, maybe in a few
you
more
see
years.
him, he plays in the Copa del Rey, Messi.
Yeah.
He's going to play in the U.S. Open Cup?
Yeah.
Come
All
on.
All right. Well, maybe the MLS has to get their act together and join these international tournaments also.
No, I know.
Right?
You're right.
Like a Champions League. Why doesn't the MLS champion participate in a Champions League?
Well, they got players we have the CONCACAF.
Yeah, but why
There
can't
is
that-
the CONCACAF, but I don't think
Right.
because UEFA is another.
It's a European.
You got to be the United European Football Association.
okay,
You got to
fine.
be part of that.
All right, Brian. We got about a good 15,
All right.
somewhere around there. You want to touch on some stuff that's going on the island?
Well,
We actually went backwards today, but it's
Right,
okay.
but that's okay
Yeah.
because really, to be honest with you, there's not much going on.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I do want to bring up, and I found this out. You know, I got an email from the president of Silver Lake, and to all the coaches, and him and I were talking beforehand about things because we've been training at Miller Field again, opening up.
Okay.
But we've noticed Miller Field looks like a garbage, you know, like now you go in there,
Dark
bottles plastic bottles all over the field.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking garbage. Forget about the other
Do
stuff.
we have a photo?
Yeah, we have a photo.
If the control room could put up a photo that we have from, this is from Miller Field,
This
right?
is from Miller Field.
Field number 1, around there.
Field number 1.
All right, when he gets a chance, he'll
where
put it
Silver
up.
Lake predominantly plays their full-sided games. But we went there to garbage, and then we found out that, you know, the fields hadn't been really maintained, the grass cut, they haven't been lined. Now we're getting closer to the season.
All right, yep.
So what was found out was that the person who handles that at Miller Field
Right.
retired.
Oh, boy. So what does that mean? It doesn't get done?
But nobody, right? Well, that's the question, and nobody said
Control room,
anything.
you got that photo?
And nobody said anything.
You might, if you need Kenny, ask Kenny to.
And
Right.
and nobody said anything until we called. Well, the club called to find out, hey, what's going on. Then they said it.
Wow.
So you know,
That's-
phone call. The club made a phone calls to
Yeah.
the other clubs on Staten Island and
Yeah.
things to say, hey, listen, you guys need to call in, do whatever you got to do
Yeah.
because there's nobody there to paint the lines. Now you got to paint the lines and you got to keep up. I look at it as a win-win.
When's the season start for you guys?
I start my first home game is September 10th.
Wow.
So before you know it,
Yeah, that's
fields are
gotta
going to be here. Is it cut? Is it this?
You got to cut it first, and then you got to line it.
Right, and then you got to
That's what
line
you
it.
gotta
But
do.
there's other things that go on. You find those fields are not maintained
So-
to the point of, wait, that day. Just this past week, I get to the field early. I set it up, my training. I'm looking around, making sure there's no setting up my training. My older daughter happens to walk by and go, "Dad, come here." Big pile of dog crap in the middle of the 18.
Oh,
So now I got to
shit.
pick everything up and reset it over the next. It's just disgusting.
Either that or you got to carry doggy bags with
Right,
you.
but this is what goes on. They're there. Believe me, they're quick to tell you the Rangers.
Yeah.
Take down. You know, it's raining out. Take down your tent so you can't stay dry.
But I'll tell you this, Brian, and I think you noticed. I mean, they're not gonna. People walking their dogs on that field, they're not gonna give.
They
a
don't
crap.
care.
Nobody gives a crap.
No, but
they're gonna
that's-
let their dogs do their business.
I know,
at any part of the
but
field.
it's disgusting
It is,
because
right.
nobody else is cleaning it up. You know, when we play as travel clubs and even as the rec, you don't want your kid running through that. You
No,
don't want your kid
no,
sliding
no,
in
no,
that.
no. We
You know,
had that
and then
last
you
year,
bring
too.
you've been there with me. We've traveled to facilities that you look at and you're like,
Oh, forget it.
wow, this is a
forget
youth
it.
facility.
It's unbelievable.
Then you have them come here and forget about the goose droppings that are all over the
Right,
place.
that's one thing.
That are, you know, bacteria laden,
Right.
and you're playing and it's disgusting.
Yep.
It's, you know, so now
So what's the plan? Like you, like you said,
I don't know.
There
We
has to be a plan. for
I
that.
know that they said they were going to be reaching. You know, the club said they were going to be reaching out to Dan Donovan.
Okay.
Dan Donovan's office. My assistant coach has a contact that
right.
you know we're reaching out to.
Okay.
To see, you know, something going on. Because ideally what I'd like to do, and I've said it on this show before, is treat the fields like they treat the public garden.
Right.
You have that guard, and then it's by permit only.
There's nothing. Yeah, we're still waiting. Oh, there we go.
So here,
Okay.
we got a picture on the screen. That's my daughter's foot. That is a pipe that is sticking out of the goal. I mean,
goal area.
maybe 2 feet off the goal line.
Wow.
And off to the side. That, forget about the regular field player right now, but as a goalie, if you're playing the position, you dive and you land on that.
Facebook people can't see it. You're gonna have to go onto television to see that.
You know,
yeah.
I can. It's or YouTube.
Thank
But
you,
it was
guys.
a rebar.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was rebar, but it was a pipe, and that was just a couple of inches sticking out. And it's, you know, it could. You don't know how deep that's going in. That's one issue. And then on top of that is, you go to stand in goal. You're standing in a hole.
Yep. You're. Right.
So what I want to do, I want to propose it, and I don't think it will ever happen.
Oh, you gotta try.
You know, let us. We pay for the permit for the field.
Right.
That's our field. We're responsible to some sense of maintaining it. You want to cut the grass, you cut the grass, you're responsible for that stuff, but we maintain it. We make sure the holes are filled. We make sure this, we make sure that. Whatever it is, make us follow your guidelines for where we got to get the soil. Because it's a bunch of crap that, you know, they come and because you leave your nets up, they don't weed whack around the nets.
Right.
They don't, you know, they won't, you know, weed whack around the net. So you got a
that.
forest growing in the net.
It's embarrassing. You don't see
It
that
really
anywhere.
is embarrassing.
Anywhere else you go, Long Island, Jersey.
No, you don't see that.
You don't see the.
And I get it. You know, that's what we have. But yeah, that's what we have. But just because that's what we have doesn't mean we should have to.
How many government fields are there that you guys play on, other than Miller?
That's the only ones.
Everywhere else we go is
Pretty well, unless I play a tournament, I'm playing. I play a tournament at Fort Dix,
right. Okay.
and that's a government. That's a military base.
Right. How's the
Their
field?
fields don't look like Miller Field.
Something's wrong.
It's all grass.
Yeah.
All grass.
And it's maintained. And
it's maintained, and
nicely,
it's.
yeah. Take some photos if you go there again.
Listen, I even did it.
We're gonna.
I actually sent. I've been communicating with a reporter from the Staten Island Advance.
Okay.
There was
Yeah.
some things I brought up to them. I sent them some stuff. I gave them some names of people to talk to, you know, and I left it in their hands to see if they want to pursue it. I said, go down to the field yourself, do some investigating, whatever it is. You know, when I saw this pipe, I sent it to them. I mentioned to them just recently about the guy retiring and the
Right.
dog.
That's,
You know,
that's
nobody's
crazy.
reached out to me again. I'm not but I want them to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what's going to happen. But, you know, you want to be able to play on a nice field. You want people to come. And now wait
Well,
till
you don't want any kid to get hurt.
No,
especially when you have
forget about the other
pipes.
stuff. When you have a pipe sticking, you know, now it's on the ref. That doesn't get fixed. You come to your first home game, that's not fixed. The ref does. Let's give the ref. You know, the ref does his investigation
Right.
of the
Yep.
the inspection of the
Inspection.
field,
Yep.
and he sees that, and he says,
No, you can't play.
"You can't play here. This is a hazard. You don't have a permit for another field.
Right.
Got to forfeit the game."
Forfeit the game, but right. You
And
can't.
now, you know, how do you not know that? Or worst case, it gets missed,
Right.
and somebody gets hurt.
Right.
Whether it's a kid, the goalie diving, or a kid tripping
unless
and
it's
landing
really-
on it,
Right. Yeah.
it's that has to be taken care of. And I'd love to know what their answer is going to be.
Well, it's either you could pull it out of the ground
How deep?
somehow.
How deep does it go?
Well, that's up to
That's
them
the
to
whole
figure
thing.
out.
You got to dig a hole, and
Or you could bury it.
well, that's it. But that could come. God knows how long that's been down there.
Right.
But as the dirt in that goal mouth keeps getting
Right, like you
washed
said, but the
away,
goal
washed
mouth
away, right?
Is down, right?
Right. So
Low,
if you fill it
build-
in and you
can
build it up and you
right.
get it level, it's covered.
Throw a piece of grass over.
But what are they going to do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows?
Hey, listen. In a perfect world, if I had any say, the whole field will be leveled and grassed.
Right.
Goal mounts.
Do some
included.
work, and now on top of it,
Because goalkeepers on this island, anyone that plays on that field has to play in dirt.
right?
Every goalkeeper.
Dirt.
Dirt. Right. Exactly.
And you got to learn how to. It forces you to learn how. Yes.
It's like playing
it,
at the Dust Bowl years
right.
ago.
It forces you to learn how to stay up and play and beat,
Yeah.
and your reaction with your movement and everything. But
Yeah, but I
that's
think
not how you play.
I think you get better. You'd be a better keeper probably if you played on grass than dirt.
Well, if you didn't have to play it, worrying about a bounce,
Worrying about rocks or
you go down to field the ball that's rolling right at you, and all of a sudden it hits a rock. And, as I like to call them, the Millerfield bounce.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, look, if I had any say, really, Brian, it would be.
No, it would be.
I would. But again, we don't have any say.
But now you also have all the construction that's going on down that end near the school.
I
They're
haven't been down
redoing the parking lot, but it's cutting into the field space.
Right.
So where that little out.
Are they extending the park?
I have no clue what they're doing.
I haven't been down actually to Millerfield since that last game with the fire and
Okay.
that rain and what we did. And everybody chipped in to
Right,
get that
to
game.
put a field- to get a
It was
field going,
unbelievable
right.
and it was great at the same time.
No, right.
What everyone did to chip in to get that field.
And that's all you need to do is give us the.
And they also came over to try. I don't know what they were saying, but the parks came
The
over.
park ranger came over and inspected. He basically inspected the field and was getting ready to tell us we can't play.
Unbelievable. After all that.
But so I told the president. I asked the president of the club to reach out to Miller Field and what's their volunteer status? Like, can we volunteer and say we're going to volunteer and as volunteers we can work on the field? So he's never gotten back to me because he hasn't heard from them.
Yeah, right.
But we weren't. They told him we might have to, if we volunteer, we might have to volunteer and take care of all the fields.
Well, you know what? I guarantee. Well, I can't guarantee, but I'm pretty sure. I have a good feeling that if whoever runs that field, the government there, whatever it is, the parks, gives permission to these clubs, your club, Staten Island Soccer,
to handle the fields on their
bring
own.
in volunteers, and I think the whole field will get done. I think you'll have enough
we'd
people.
have enough people to do everything.
Right. If the word is put out there sometime.
Yes,
We'll
I agree
clean up-
with you.
we'll clean up the field. We'll
We
just
go
clean-
there, you clean it up,
And
you
that
throw
should be
dirt in
done.
to level it out, you bring rollers in, you roll
I don't know
it.
if they're going to want you to do that, but let's clean the field. Let's do a complete sweep from one end to
Right.
another.
You got to do something because it's
And
embarrassing when
inspect
you
it
have
for stuff like you found. Like inspect it for pipes, whatever. Broken
anything.
goal pole.
Listen, we go to the first club team we're playing. World class is coming to us. Right. You go to theirs.
Yeah, it's top.
And they're a 501c3 organization. They're a not-for-profit organization. Right. They charge a lot more money, yes.
Okay.
But when you go there, they just over this past summer they just installed another turf field. We play on a turf. They got a bunch of turf fields. Then they have a building and overlooking with a concession stand and. And then you're going to say, come to us.
Yeah.
And
play on that.
You're playing in this.
Yeah. It's almost like playing on concrete.
It is.
In the goal area.
It's embarrassing. It really is. It's embarrassing.
It's been like that for a long time. Let's just keep, I guess, the voice going on it.
You know what needs to happen? You need not just the club people, the presidents, the coaches. You need the parents of the players that play on these fields. We pay taxes. We all pay federal taxes.
Yep.
Complain.
Protest?
Right? No protest. Write a letter to your councilman. Write a letter to I'd say go to the borough president because he's a big. Yeah, we're going to protest the season.
Yeah?
Can't do that.
No?
Can't do that.
All right.
But I'd say go to the borough president, but he's city. He's not federal.
Right.
He might have some influence. He's a big sports fan.
Yeah.
But he can only handle, if it was a city park, it's different.
Right.
But this is federal. So, Donovan, Lanza, whatever we got.
Yes, yeah.
I see him on Facebook, Joe Borelli.
Yep.
These guys are, do something. Help us out. Help us out.
All right. So we pretty much covered a lot today, and I'm getting the signal to start wrapping things up. Any last words before we close out the show?
No.
It's probably going to be a couple weeks before we do another one. We could squeeze in like a Studio B, but obviously a month before we do another live one like this.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. It looks forward, but we are monthly. But by then we're at least. It's got a couple, maybe two weeks of youth soccer in.
Yeah, I'll be excited. I mean, my team, I'll be back. A couple weeks in. Or at least 1 week, for sure.
High school just started up this week with their preseason training.
College soccer stuff.
College just started. Right. I've been trying to get them in, sharing the stuff about Wagner.
Right.
And trying to do that. But high school coaches.
Yeah. Yep.
Give us, message us on Facebook how your team's doing. We'd love to get, get an interview, do
They
something.
could
Just
call up the show also.
call the show in. We could do whatever, but
All right, Brian.
let's get rolling.
We're getting the signal to wrap things up here. Thank you again. Facebook side, television
everyone.
side. We'll see you guys soon. Again, the show will be on YouTube probably by tomorrow if anybody missed it. Just wait for the music to
Here it
come on.
comes.
And there's the. All right.
No, 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 no.